BlogTalk Radio.
I'm a little bit confused at whether this is the beginning of the show or not. On the one hand, it tells me I'm calling back into a live program, and the other one, it tells me it's not. So I'm trying to get here on the computer, but it's not going very well. Is there anybody else here? Am I just talking to air? Yeah, I think I'm talking to air here. Yeah, well, you said that before. All right, everybody. It looks like I might be on here. Can anybody hear me? Can somebody type? Louise.
Hello, Chrism.
Yeah, hi. Okay.
Hi. Just go ahead. The show is on air.
Yeah. I guess what, the past 5 minutes? Weird.
No, my microphone wasn't working. I could hear you fine. So from the moment you came on, the show started. So while you've been gone, there's been silence on the live show.
Oh, I apologize, everybody.
Because once you come on...
All right, okay, I understand.
Okay.
Okay, all right. I don't know if you heard me do an alm, but I'm going to go ahead and do an alm just to be sure that we do the alm. We got to do the alm first. So here we go. Oh, hello everybody. This is Chrism, and I'd like to welcome you to this program about your Kundalini awakening experiences and experience. And I just got back from Germany last night, and I'm still a little bit jet lagged, maybe a lot jet lagged. The ride home was not as uneventful as I would have hoped. Lots of strange and interesting experiences with Air Berlin, which I don't recommend for people. And landing in Chicago and having to, it's just a real mess. Anyway, so I want to thank everybody that came to the seminar in Germany, Sotantar and Manisha and Magdalene and Santara and Vincent and Philip and Tarika and Anita and Julian, and I hope I'm not forgetting. I know oh no. Am I still online? It just said reconnecting to server. So once again, people in the chat room, if you can let me know that I'm not talking to dead air here. Hello? Hello? Boy, I swear. This is so amazing. You're live. Okay. Thank you, Phil. It takes a long time for you guys to get my message, too. Okay. I would like to thank Santara and Josephine and Rosemary for giving me a call and letting me know that I'm live. I appreciate it. The computer's here. I don't know, maybe they had a blackout and everything, but it seems like everything got forgotten, and so I had to log out and log in, log out, log in, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so, hey, the seminar in Germany went very, very, very well. And I want to thank everybody, Manisha for organizing it, and Mr. Sotantar for assisting so ably and inviting everybody in the Berlin group. Berlin is a wonderful city, everybody. If you're going to go to Germany, go to Berlin and go to Sotantar's store. You can look it up on the web at www.sotantar.com. But anyway, it was a wonderful experience. Beautiful people, very much like a German San Francisco or German Paris or somewhere where there's a lot of different people from a lot of different cultures all coming together and living fairly harmoniously with each other. I mean, we met people from Uganda and from Africa and Asia and of course the United States people were there and the Nordic countries were there. It's a very, very beautiful place. And this seminar turned out very, very, very well. And I want to thank everyone who participated in it. Vincent in the chat room was there, and Manisha in the chat room was there. And so what a beautiful group of people. Amazing, amazing group of people. And the Shakti Pots were quite unique and quite effective. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who participated. And I see that we have Joey and Rosemary is here, and Elizabeth, Dalton Gonzalez is here. Josephine is, and I still believe she's in Washington, D.C. So here we go, everybody. One of the subjects that I'm being compelled to talk about right now is divine intervention. Divine intervention typically is part of an experience of almost like you would see as a symptom of Kundalini. Now I'm going to make sure my chair's not making noise today, because I know how that bothers people. Typical Kundalini phenomena are of a divine quality. And this is something that people need to understand. Telepathy is divine intervention. Psychometry is divine intervention. Anything that has to do with Kundalini and its expression through the physical body is a manifestation of divine intervention. And so to feel that because through our mechanization and our what our egos like to call high technology, we have kind of lost the ability to appreciate how divinity comes into our lives on a daily basis, and certainly within the Kundalini. Divine intervention happens 24/7. Even as now I know, okay, I'm going to back up a little bit, and I know that people think divine intervention, changing water into wine, because we're all alcohol-oriented people and we all like wine. Changing, walking. What is going on here? What? I'm still on, right? You're still hearing me? I'm just turning this phone off. Done. You're still hearing me, folks? Please, somebody type. Hello? Anybody there? Okay. All right.
Yes, Phil
Hello.
says yes, Chrism. He can hear you.
Okay. Well, why
Mary
would people
Jean
be
says yes.
typing with me here? Okay. Thank you. So when we have divine intervention in our lives, I just totally lost that stream here. I'm going to have to pick up another stream. When we have divine intervention in our lives, just a second. When we have the Kundalini, we have divine intervention 24 hours, 7 days a week, all the time. When we're being detoxed and we're having to go through amazing levels of anger or sadness or grief, or even with the complete bliss and ecstatic bliss and happiness and joy and love and truth and the many manifestations of grace upon us. These are also levels of divine intervention. Most of the time we're looking at walking on water, changing, doing the Jesus thing or doing some of the other things that are in representative of the Hindu pantheon as well. We're looking at magical types of occurrences that go beyond the go beyond the parameters of physics and science. And yet, divine intervention is all around us all the time. The amazing level of life on this planet is a wonderful example of divine intervention. The amazing level of life inside your body is another instance of divine intervention. And I know it sounds like I'm trivializing divine intervention, but I'm not. I'm absolutely not trivializing it. It's just that we all have it within us. We all have this divine activity happening within us, but with the Kundalini people, it's more apparent. It's more in your face. It is more obvious, and it is more interactive with your ego consciousness than it is with those who have yet to awaken. And so divine intervention is happening all the time. Astral projection is divine intervention. And those people that have NDEs or near-death experiences, they know because as a person who has died knows and understands that when they died and they flatlined and their soul is going into the next expression and they're stopped from fully entering that next expression and told that it is not their time yet, they must turn around and go back. They know for a fact that divine intervention is real. They know for a fact that divine intervention is real and it is happening all the time. It is happening all the time. And I want to outline this for you within the Kundalini. Having the Kundalini, having a spinal sweep, but even not having a spinal sweep, just being able to feel your chakras is a huge step into the divine fields. It's a huge step into recognition of heavenly intervention in our daily lives. That seminar, and the people that were there, the people that were receiving this information and receiving Shakti thought, that too is divine intervention. When a person such as myself goes into a room full of people like that, the energy just goes straight into them. It's like sitting on the sun with all the heat and all the fantastic energy that the sun has. Well, imagine this within the context of Kundalini radiance. It just goes straight into them, and it begins to really work with their own dynamics of their Kundalini activity. And a lot of people who came to that seminar had very, very specific, very, very definite Kundalini activity. The interesting thing about this seminar, if I may digress just a little bit, the interesting thing about this seminar was that there was an ayahuasca ceremony that a few of the participants engaged in at the same time as going into the Kundalini Awakening seminar. And I'm going to have Santara come on board and have her talk a little bit about that. Go ahead, Santara. I've got to take care of something here, so I want you to go ahead and tell them a little bit about what occurred there.
Okay. Well, as some of you know, last February we went to Peru and we saw a shaman there. Well, he was a man there, Alonso del Rio. Well, this time when I was in Berlin, there was another gentleman visiting, and he was a man, a shaman from the Western culture that has trained with the Shipibo people and has been doing it now for maybe 6 years. So it was a very different experience, and it was really very interesting. There was 5 shamans there all together. So the gentleman himself that was leading it, and his maestro was also there. Now this maestro of his is new to him. He's only been working with him for about the past year. And so it was a very, very different ceremony and very, very interesting. And really, I was very, very glad that I participated in it.
I'm here. So that sounds like a very good...
Oh, you're back?
That sounds like a very good place to just jump in. And so, I met Tiago the shaman that Santara speaks on at the London conference last year. Very nice individual. Listened to the Kundalini talk that I gave there in London, and interestingly enough, he was having a seminar at the exact same time I'm having a seminar. And as I've spoken of in other programs, ayahuasca is considered to be one of the short paths into the Kundalini awakening, and I thought it was very, very interesting. And as apropos of our conversation, I feel that it also was a level of divine intervention. And so I know, Santara, you had a pretty good experience with that, didn't you?
Yes, I did. It was a very interesting experience, very different, Chrism. But I wasn't the only one. There were other people there that experienced the ayahuasca too. There was a few of us. Right,
exactly. And all of the experiences, I think from what I heard about it, were very positive.
Yes, they were. The three of us had very interesting, very positive experiences. I don't think there was anything negative at all, Chrism, actually, from it.
I feel like there's a lag time between us. Yeah, there is. There's a lag time, Santara, between you and I. Okay, so just so you know, when we're having conversations, that to leave a bit of time on the end of the sentence. Okay.
Okay.
Well, so and even that, I feel that the provocative level of divine intervention there was the fact that there was even an ayahuasca ceremony going on at the same time. And Manisha was telling me, I'm going to bring Manisha on here. Hello, Manisha.
Hello, Chrism.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Yes.
You were telling me that the space that the ayahuasca ceremony in was the first space that you selected for the Kundalini seminar, right?
That's right.
And that
correct.
if we had not moved to the other room, then they wouldn't have been able to use that room. And it just seems so synchronistic, don't you think, Manisha?
Yeah. Yes, that's why I had to go there.
I think it was great. And since you're online, I would like to publicly thank you for organizing this and bringing all these beautiful people together, and also the way you organized it. That allowed us to be connected with that ayahuasca experience too. And you had a very beneficial experience with the ayahuasca there too, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Just very, very strong and clear and sort of ecstatic too. Very down to earth too. Yes.
Excellent. Wonderful, my dear. So once again, thank you. I want you to continue listening on the phone here, and I'm going to go ahead and put you into Shiva Blue. Oh, that was weird. Okay. And Santara, do you have anything else you'd like to say about your experience there?
No, Chris, not really. I was very glad I participated. And I do agree with you that the ayahuasca is a form of divine intervention. I really do. I think it's something that has been...
I didn't exactly say that, but I think it opens one up to divine information or divine intervention.
Yes. Yes.
Even the ability that the shamans in South America and other places were able to find out that if you mix Psychotria viridis with Banasteropsis capi, i.e. if you mix chacruna with ayahuasca, you get this jungle tea that opens one up into levels of Kundalini, which in turn opens one up into levels of understanding a divine intervention, a divine experience. Very, 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 very amazing, actually. And and Manisha writes, it's not easy to find words for the Aya experience, and it isn't. But just like the Kundalini, it's hard to find words for the Kundalini as well. And so, yeah, I just want to honor the divine today, because it really exemplifies how Kundalini, the Kundalini Awakening seminar that we were having, and the ayahuasca experience, how they harmonized so perfectly with each other. And Santara, you came to the seminar afterwards, as did Manisha and Magdalene. How did the seminar feel to you right after having the ayahuasca experience?
Well, I arrived to the seminar because beforehand, I didn't know how I would be, because one can be very different after an ayahuasca experience. One can be very, very, very present, or very, very removed from the physical. And I have had both experiences for some hours after an ayahuasca ceremony. But this time, I was, it's like Manisha said, I was very grounded, and I had a sense of peace. And I walked into the room afterwards, and we had but we had stayed the whole night in the ayahuasca ceremony room and came directly to the seminar. And when I walked into the room, there was such a sense of peace and presence, Chrism, that was also in the room. And I was very, very present to every single thing that was happening. It was like, it wasn't that it was hyper, but I was very, very aware of everything, and I had this lovely sense of peace and serenity in my heart and in my body. So that was really lovely.
And I think this probably gave you a level of energetic infusion that allowed for those specific visions that you had there, right?
I did Chrism, I actually had that vision I wrote about before the ayahuasca, the day before. So that wasn't actually connected. Yeah. Okay. That was a Kundalini vision. Yeah.
Yeah, the only
given grace.
The only Manisha says, I hope you found us in sync with the group after the ayahuasca, and to comment on that, Manisha. The fatigue. I felt that the fatigue may have been somewhat of an issue. Santara, did you feel really, really tired? Was it hard for you to stay awake and stay focused?
No, not until about 4 p.m., I think, I began to feel tired. At that point, I certainly, yes. But before that, no, Chrism, I didn't. That's what I'm saying. I would have expected to, but I didn't.
That's
but
amazing. That's
I can
great.
share of the vision that I had on the first day, before the ayahuasca.
Okay, if you want.
Not particularly.
You don't want to? Okay.
I just thought you were interested.
People are expecting it now. We can't just say, oh, there's a vision, but never mind.
Well, you did introduce it and say that it was ayahuasca, and so. Well, I say or not, I don't mind.
It was, but I do remember you saying that it was on the first day, and the ayahuasca ceremony was on the first night. And you're hearing Inara scratching herself right now, the big German shepherd that I just said. Not that. Silly girl.
Oh, she was enjoying that.
I know. Go ahead.
Okay, well, what actually happened was Chrism was sitting on a chair, and he was sitting in front of just a wall. The wall was white. And I remember this had happened in the first day. I was very focused on what he was saying, really, really listening, even though now I can't remember the topic at all. But as I was watching him, as I was listening and watching, I began to notice, I noticed all around his head and his shoulders and a little bit down his arm, there was coming out from him a glow, a light. It wasn't hugely out, it was maybe a foot, 2 feet, and it was a shimmery, lovely light. And then as I was looking at that, I've seen this before, but as I was looking at that, the next thing on the wall above him, a shape, like a black and white curved shape with different patterns, it came out of the wall. And then I know that was to the left of him, just above his shoulder, and that light. And then above that again to the right, another pattern came, and they kind of were emerging and submerging at different times on the wall. And at one stage, I could see the whole wall covered in this pattern. And then suddenly, I came down, I saw from his mouth, your mouth kind of became larger, Chrism, and there were lights, little sparkles started to come out of your mouth. And as the sparkles came out of Chrism's mouth, they became solid and turned into diamonds. They were absolutely beautiful. It was like cascading out of his mouth. And I know he was speaking, and they were coming out as he was talking like a waterfall. And they fell over his beard, but they disappeared. It was like there was an invisible, they just disappeared into nothing about halfway down. And then suddenly after a few seconds, it was gone. And as I was watching it, I feel I wasn't breathing. And then suddenly I was breathing again. But I have absolutely no idea what Chrism was speaking about, or I don't remember. Even after that, I'm not too sure. I just know suddenly it was over, and it was very, very beautiful.
Yeah, a little different than what I was feeling up there. I was feeling very, very connected to the Kundalini, very, very hot. And the second day, it was even more so. The day of the Shaktipat, it was really, really, really strong. I felt very tranced with the Kundalini, and she was speaking very, very clearly at that meeting. And so once again, I just really want to say thank you to Manisha and Santara and Vincent and everybody who came and everybody who organized this event in Berlin, Germany. And there was a strong level of divine intervention happening at this seminar. It was the entire seminar, you could almost say, was a divine intervention. The entire seminar. One interesting aspect that I'll leave it alone for the rest of the show is that we were on the 4th floor of, it seemed, any building we went into. I had to go up 8 flights of stairs and then down 8 flights of stairs with loaded suitcases and things of that nature. And I feel it was divine intervention that I didn't re-injure my left calf that I had injured when I was walking these 2 giant, humongous dogs a few weeks back. And I've had to, every time the Shakti would heal it, some sort of a thing would come up to destroy that healing, and then she'd heal it again, and back and forth. And that was occurring there at the seminar as well. It's like, oh my God, that was total divine intervention for me. So anyway, and yeah, as we go into the phenomena that the Kundalini brings with us and within us, strong levels of divine intervention are constantly occurring. And not just with the symptoms, but with the way your day is arranged, with the way circumstances, so-called circumstances, arrange themselves around you to give you very, very specific lessons of Kundalini awakening, to give you very, very specific understandings of life as you go through your life in a Kundalini awakening way. Many levels of the divine come to a person in the daily life, and one of those is just through extreme levels of outburst. You might say that bliss is an extreme level of outburst of Kundalini through the body. It just takes you over, and your eyes water up, you start to cry, you start to heave. In some cases, you're paralyzed with bliss, with ecstatic bliss. This is also an obvious form of divine intervention, but not another form that is not so obvious is the level of detox and the expressions of detoxification, such as anger or sadness. Sometimes can be, a level of detoxing coming through. Tears. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how many tears I have cried since the Kundalini came into this body. First time for the body, second time, or actually third time for the soul. The tears that this body produced in order to manage the detoxification that the Kundalini was bringing is just amazing. Just amazing levels of detoxification. And very important for people to understand that, so that you're not just thinking that, oh my gosh, this is so terrible. This is such a terrible experience. I find myself crying all the time. The tears have purpose. The tears are on purpose, so that you can detoxify yourself, so that you can, have a level of understanding that so that you don't lock in levels of toxicity by not being able to release them. And so it's very important for people to understand that Kundalini manifestation isn't just happy, happy, joy, joy. There's a level of crying within Kundalini that is totally divinely inspired. Totally and completely divinely inspired. And you must honor that as also another form of divine intervention. When I was a kid, I could breathe underwater until I was told by my mother that wasn't possible, and that she wanted me to stop doing it. So I stopped, and as my life progressed, I bought into the programming that you can't fly, that you can't breathe underwater, that you can't do these things. Although I still have these memory engrams that show me clearly breathing underwater. Clearly. But yet, if you throw me into a pool right now, it's not going to work so well for me. I think. Maybe not. Who knows? I mean, I guess you never know until you test it, but that's not something I want to test too quick. So yeah, divine intervention is a huge subject within the Kundalini, because it's just not the levitation or the psychokinetics or the things that we associate with, say, Saint Teresa of Avila, or Saint Hildegard von Bingen, or any of the Hindu saints like Yogananda or Vivekananda or Sri Aurobindo or Ramakrishna, or any of these guys, and people doing very, very amazing things. And so, yeah, you want to really understand that when you have the Kundalini coming through you, you have strong levels of divine intervention coming through you. And that's an important thing to remember. That's an important thing to honor within yourself. Very, very, very important. Okay, and I believe we may have a caller, Santara. Oh, no, maybe not. Okay. All right. Now I want to open this up to any questions. And so I want to give you a call-in number, and the number is 347-934-0026. That's area code 347-934-0026. So, Santara, we have a caller. If you could go to that caller, please. I just placed you with the caller, but I want to make sure you know that there's a caller there. So if you would please go to the caller. Oh, it's Josephine. Okay, that's all right. Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Very good. Okay. So yeah. Anybody call in if you want to call in and talk about your Kundalini awakening experience. It doesn't have to be about divine intervention. You may have a question. Let's see. And the number is 934-0026. And okay, all right. Manisha says, I'm going to get off the phone now and hope to last through the whole show. Not sure, though. Well, I know that in Germany, I believe it's around 12:30 in the morning right now. So I totally understand that anybody in Europe right now, including Vincent, that can't stay awake, that's going to fall asleep, well, I understand. Yeah. So one thing that I did want to notice, we had an individual there that had a lot of entities going on, a lot of entity involvement, and there was a level of clearing with that as well, with that individual. And so that, once again, is a divine intervention. The fact that you're being allowed to have entities and to be cogent of entities is a level of divine intervention. And so anything that deals with the paranormal that is inserted into a person's experience is a kind of divine intervention. And so it's very important for people to understand that. The age of miracles has not passed, as some of the Christians will say, because nobody's, asserting levels of divine intervention. They're not doing the water and the wine, which all the Christians want because they love that wine so much, or walking on water, or, bringing people back from the dead. Unless when people put these parameters to the divine and say, well, you're not divine unless you do this. Well, that's a whole prove it to me scenario with the divine. And the divine doesn't respond well to egocentric demands of proof. That's why with Kundalini people, we're very, very, very conscious about not being self-aggrandizing or putting yourself on TV and then levitating or things of that nature, because the Kundalini does not respond well to that. It is not a circus side show. And so it's very important for people to begin to fall away from egocentric levels of prove it to me. And so when you lock yourself into a situation where that describes levels of proof of this or proof of that, you're going to find yourself losing out on certain things, losing out on specific levels of understanding, losing out on specific levels of observation and things of that nature, because your expectation is taking control. Your expectation, your egocentric expectation, is taking control and demanding a divine intervention. So think about that. Think about that the next time you're discerning whether or not you have Kundalini. Wow, gosh, do I have Kundalini? Have I walked on water today? Oh my gosh, I haven't walked on water, therefore I must not have Kundalini. Or, since you have phenomena, well, geez, am I going to use my phenomena as a measuring stick about whether or not I have an active Kundalini? That's another tangent that you want to look at. These are all very, very, very important tangents, and so it's very important for you to understand that divine intervention is constantly happening within the Kundalini awakening experience. And once that genie is out of the bottle, i.e., once you're activated with Kundalini and you're accepting that activation and working it into an awakening, and then once you have that awakening, you're always going to have a level of divine intervention in your lifetime. And in the next lifetime after that, and the next lifetime after that, and so on and so forth, you will always have that top of the pyramid experience if you come back into this level of life on this world. You will always have it with you. Okay? So if you have any questions about this and any other questions, I'd encourage you to call in at 347-934-0026. And I'm going to ask Santara. Santara, do you have anything you'd like to add in this context?
No, Chrism, I don't. No.
Okay, all righty. And I'm going to pass the baton or the microphone right on over to Her Holiness Elizabeth Felton Gonzalez and Laranya, the Sacred Spider. Hello, Elizabeth.
Hi.
How you doing?
Hi, Chrism. Welcome
Hi.
back. I'm doing good.
What's happening with you and Laranya today?
Oh, not too much. I've got to run in about 10 minutes, so if I hang up, that's why I've got a meeting at the school. The only thing I've had this week in the way of divine intervention was I've been having just messages about impermanence, things not being what they seem. And I laid down, I think it was yesterday, and all of a sudden I was in a forest, like it felt like I was driving but without a body, and just through like a white, pristine, snow-covered, like birch wood forest.
Nice.
And all of a sudden it started, it looked like a painting, like you could see the brush strokes, and it was literally, but it was so real, like I was there, brush strokes painting it as I went past it, like it was literally being created as I was moving through it. And then I got just a message, do not confuse that which is impermanent with that which is eternal. Always look with new eyes.
There you go. That's
yeah.
really good. That really ties in with Kunalini very well. It kind of really harmonizes with what I just said as far as when you let that genie out of the bottle, it is there always, and it will always be with you. And yet your bodies will be different as you manifest a body in a new lifetime, say on this world, or in a new lifetime in another world. Your Kundalini will always be there. It is indeed eternal. And yet, the body is not. The body of the corporeal, physical body is not eternal. Would you agree, Elizabeth?
Yes.
That's a very important thing for people to understand. Kundalini will be with you always. Once you've opened up that level of divine interaction, as Elizabeth has, and so many people on this group have, it never goes away. The phenomena may change. Your phenomena of the Kundalini, the divine phenomena, may change. That has a level of impermanence to it. And yet there's also a level of permanence too. And I understand you're going to have to go pick up your little girl, right, Elizabeth?
I do. I do. I have a meeting with her,
Well,
so I've got to run.
You go right ahead, my dear. I'll put you in the blue, and you have a nice day. Thank you for coming on.
You too. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Yeah. I think what she says is very, very important. And that eternal quality is another aspect of divine intervention. So important for people to remember this. So important for people to know this, because it is absolutely true. It is absolutely true. Now, I have to admit to a level of fatigue right now because of the 14 hours that I spent yesterday traveling. And so I'm going to limit the time of this show. And I would like Santara to come on board right now. And I would like to know if you have any questions that you may have collected.
Yes, Chrism, there are a few. Some of them you've answered before, but I'm going to call them out. There's two questions. What happens during a spinal sweep, and what is merging with divine? Those came as private questions on the tweet for you.
Well, let's go ahead and take that. I can answer the first one quite quickly, actually, and I'll go ahead and what happens is this. The spine will feel as if it wants to be straight. Although the spine can never get completely straight, but there will be an inside-out pressure of the spine, and it will want to be straight, and a feeling of really powerful potential energy begins to build at the base of the spine, and it can actually begin to expand the base of the spine, and you may even hear a crack, although it won't be painful. And as these energies and pressures begin to increase at this base, there will be a bursting point. It'll be like a dam that holds back water will be bursting, and then the energies will sweep up the spinal column, causing the back to arch backward, and the head is immediately wrapped in a swirling mass of energy, and you can see lights and hear sounds and experience smells. Sensations of tiny electric currents are felt just below the scalp and all over the body, actually, just below the skin, and it's like zipping and fizzing their way around as they begin to vivify hair follicles. It feels like there's like insects are all over the body, or tiny little snakes are all over the body, and some people can hear an inner hum that'll begin. And then at the same exact time, the emotional body is also extremely affected, and extreme feelings of love and joy are felt, and the body convulses with an intensity of joy and movement. And some people have said they were conscious of streamers of light fountaining out the top of their head and around them. And other people have had their fontanelle at the top of the head become like a giant eye. They see like looking through a fisheye lens. And in addition, at the same time as that, beauty and joy and love and a feeling of completion pervade the body, and one can begin to feel the energy fill the cranial spaces. And with a perception, there's a visual perception of a golden white light. Not with everybody, not everybody gets the same colors or things like that, but generally speaking, a golden white light is viewed with the eyes closed, and the sensation of a bowl on top of the head extending down to the temples is perceived. And there can be some major spastic movements and a lot of minor spastic movements of the body. Kind of the body spasms a lot as the Kundalini begins or completes its initial interaction with the body. And this can last for minutes or seconds, and it is what the Kundalini of that person decides is needed. And there's no pain, typically. There is no pain unless you try to resist this. But because it feels so good, you're not going to try to resist it. I mean, very few would really try to resist it unless it came on them and they didn't know what was going on. And then, of course, a person might try to resist it. And so with that first question, Santara, that is a general outline, just a general outline of a spinal sweep. What was the next part? Hello?
Yes, can you hear me? The next part is what is merging with the divine?
That is merging with the divine. When the spinal sweep occurs, the energy of the consciousness of the individual is pushed into what can only be described as the heavenly areas, the heavenly landscape. Beyond that, what happens to the consciousness as it's in the heavenly landscape is beyond words. There are no words to cover that. No words at all, in my experience. Over.
Okay, thank you. The next questions, then, that's all I received into my Facebook box for you, Chrism. The rest are from the groups. So the next one is, do those faces which I see have any significance, or are they just visions? I see them when meditating through my third eye. They transform from one to another, and I also see many eyes. What are they?
Well, I would question is like, how do they know they're seeing through their third eye? Does a little ticker tape line come across? You are now viewing through your third eye. I mean, what's going on with that? It's like, yes, normal vision has been turned off, and you are now viewing through your third eye. No. It's not viewing through your third eye. The faces are fairly common. The faces are consciousness that are watching and learning, and they are part of a level of observation that is happening, because people that have the Kundalini, they have Kundalini in an awakened state, regardless of whether they think they're looking through their third eye or not. That's a very, 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 very important experience to have. And a lot of consciousness that is not yet at that level of experience want to see it and want to learn from it and want to be as educated about it as it can be before they perhaps jump into or re-immerse themselves into the human experience. This gives them a level of information about how you handled it, and it may give them a level of inspiration about how they would handle it as well. And it also has a level to do with some past life influence with regards to friends that you may have made in the past life, family members that you may have seen, and even some of these spaces are going to be of aliens. E.T. may figure prominently within that, and these would have to do with levels of lives where your consciousness has not inhabited a human type physical structure, but more of an extraterrestrial type physical structure. And it's very important for people to understand that is what is occurring. Okay, so the faces have a multiple level of response about why they're there and what they're doing there and things like that. It's not just one thing. As with many of the Kundalini phenomena, it's typically not just one thing. There's typically 4 or 5, maybe 6. There are many, many, many reasons behind a single expression of phenomena. Over.
Thank you, Chrism. Are the eyes the same? The person speaks about seeing many eyes and asks, what are they? Would the answer be the same with regard to the eyes?
I need to know more information about what the eyes are looking like to that person.
Oh, okay. I'll move on to the next question. What happens to our chakras when we go to sleep, and in what condition we meet them when we wake in the morning?
Our chakras never go to sleep.
What happens?
The chakras, basically refine a lot of the spiritual and energetic components of the energetic field within the human being. Now, when the person goes to sleep, the person consciousness typically leaves the body. So everybody is having a form of of out-of-body experience every night, whether they remember where they went or not. So as the person is out of the body, the chakra system goes into maintenance mode, and the salts are excreted into the urine, and the healing of specific wounds takes priority. The digestion slows down. Body goes into maintenance mode, and so the chakra system also. A portion of the chakra system will also go into maintenance mode as well. And as we go into the different levels of sleep, like the theta, delta, alpha brainwave system, it will manifest as certain levels of maintenance that the body absolutely needs. Every 24 hours, that body needs a level of maintenance to continue its health, to continue its grace, to continue its level interaction with the physical universe, multiverse. And so that is what the chakra system, that is partly what the chakra system does in the nighttime as we sleep. In other areas, the chakra system is still connected to us. As we leave the body, we're still connected to the chakra system by a thin level of energy. Some people have called that the silver cord. That's fine. I have, I'm not really affixed, or I don't buy into one single name for these things. People can call it the rainbow cord if they want. That might even be more appropriate, because the chakra system is still connected to the individual, even as they leave the body and go out into the multiverse to experience dream teachings or dreams that the person never remembers. The chakra system is still working. The chakra system is still correlating data and learning, within the different body of information that the chakra system represents, such as, the first chakra would be survival and the level of safety that a person has. So if a person has a scary dream, well, the first chakra kicks in, and then so on and so forth with the second chakra and creativity and water maintenance and the salt maintenance, and yet also the creativity that is involved with and the power modulation that's involved, and then the third chakra system, and so on and so forth throughout the entire chakra system, and all the different various interpretations and meanings of what each chakra does. Those chakras are also expressing through the individual consciousness as it leaves the body. So they never stop. They keep going. As long as you have life, they will keep going. Over.
Thank you, Chrism. There was a post on the group about a lady who had a beautiful experience a few nights ago. She woke up with an explosion of radiating energy, and it was just absolutely magnificent. And she had joy and bliss, and she felt like every cell was activated. And the current continued, and the bliss and the joy for a few seconds. She felt like a very different person. Now, she said how, unfortunately, the whole experience, including the blissful after effects, lasted for only a few seconds. And she asked, does this happen again?
Not in the same way. There's only one first time. And this is what people expect. This is like, gosh, if I order a chocolate milkshake, it should taste just as good the first time or the second time as it did the first time. Well, it doesn't. There's only one first time, and when a person experiences this big, huge level of bliss and understanding and awakening and clarity and all these things, it will not be the same the second time around. So no, it is not exactly replicated. Because we've had it one time, we have reference points, and because we have reference points, our ego will attach expectations, and because we have expectations, that expectation is designed that, that experience must be just as good as the first time I ever had it. And it may approach that level, but it won't be like that level. You can never expect, it's best not to have expectations within Kundalini anyway. And I'm not suggesting that this is Kundalini for the individual either. A mystical experience can do a lot of the same types of things. But we'll just assume that if in a Kundalini context, you need to really let your expectations of replication, perfect replication go. All it's going to do is set up an expectation within you that the divine may not live up to, because maybe it doesn't want to live up to the erroneous expectation that the individual is experiencing. And so there you have my answer. Over.
Thank you, Chrism. The next question is asking about trouble with the eyes. Has anyone experienced trouble in the eye, like it seems to be not lining up with the other eye?
Yeah, that can happen.
Context,
that can happen.
Yeah.
The optic nerves are also going through Kundalini transformation. Right side eye is the male eye. Left side eye is the feminine eye. And then there is third eye activation that also happens with Kundalini sometimes, not so much, from a conscious standpoint, however, people are, they're not going, and now I shall awaken my third eye, because, no, it's not that at all. But it is part of the natural experience of the Kundalini to be able to, if that fits your karma, then you may be able to develop levels of experience through the Ajna chakra that will just come naturally with the Kundalini. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're looking through the Ajna the same way that you would look through a physical eye. But if the Ajna is activating, well, then that can also have an effect on the other two eyes below it. So yeah, you can have some eye differentiation. Don't expect it to last. Just surrender to it. Don't feel that anything is wrong. If it's getting in the way of you driving, then, we need to have a conversation. If it's getting in the way of you reading small things, or if you're starting to see, having more visions or seeing more of an energetic nature of the multiverse around you, then yeah, that's a good thing. And go with that. Surrender with that. But nothing is wrong with your eyes. There's not a single thing that the Kundalini does to an individual that damages the individual. Not a single thing. It's very important for people to understand that. Over.
Thank you, Chrism. There's two more questions about pressure on the head. One question is, I sometimes feel high pressure in the head. Could this be connected to Kundalini or something in general? And another person speaks about feeling their blood flowing in the artery and the veins, and that they had started regular meditation about 10 days ago, or 10 years ago. Could this be hypertension?
So it's a blood pressure issue for them? Is that what they're saying?
I don't know. Yeah. They're wondering. They're feeling it in their veins, in their hands and fingers, their palms, soles, lips.
Kundalini can definitely raise the blood pressure, no doubt about that. I've had blood pressure most of my life, and I've had Kundalini most of my life. So it can raise the blood pressure, but, medical science does a lot of generalizing. Let me give you an example. In the United States here, diastolic and systolic blood pressure measurements at one time, 120/80 was the most healthy BP of blood pressure that one could have, and then they just arbitrarily changed it to 110/70. And then, oh gosh, if you weren't 110/70, then you're a hypertensive person. Whereas, 20 years before that, it was 120/80. And, that was considered normal. And so it's a very, 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 I don't have a lot of confidence in generalized medical standardizations of what diastolic and systolic blood pressure readings should be. I've had high blood pressure for most of my life, and I've had Kundalini for most of my life. And so, I don't think it fits. Kundalini blood pressure and hyper or hypotension levels don't really fit well within the Kundalini paradigm, because once again, we got to go back to divine intervention. With Kundalini, you may need to have a higher blood pressure level in order to be able to have the body manage itself within the Kundalini expressive current. One may need to have that. And so, is it dangerous? No, because once again, I will commit to the statement that there is never anything that the Kundalini does to you that is harmful to you. And if the people that are asking this question on the groups are actually having the Kundalini, well, then they should be rest assured. They should rest assured that the Kundalini is taking care of them. And if the ego mind is feeling something like a pulsation in a certain part of the body, that does not indicate, even outside of the Kundalini, that wouldn't indicate hyper or hypertension at all. It just means that you're being able to feel the pulse of the blood as it flows through you in a certain area. It doesn't reflect blood pressure at all. Over.
Thanks, Chrism. That's it. I don't have any other questions currently.
Okay. I'd still like to open this up for people to call in and ask questions if they have a question. And that call-in number is 347-934-0026. I would like to make a statement about some of the folks out there listening that the more you reach out into the populations, the more you give helpfulness and service to total strangers, the better your Kundalini is going to go. This is very, very, very important to hear. Many years ago, before Kundalini was even a household word, it started. Kundalini was really exposed to the Western cultures in the late 1960s, early 1970s. Well, back in the 1920s and 1930s, it was also mentioned by an American psychic called Edgar Cayce. And Edgar Cayce's source, which Edgar Cayce, his conscious self, never really interacted with, but the source that interacted through Edgar Cayce constantly, the few times that it mentioned Kundalini, it called it the Kundalini energies, Kundli or Lyn, the Kundalini energies. It basically said this can be from praying too ardently or meditating too ardently, things of that nature. And it said that once these energies are awakened within the individual, that individual must be in a constant level of giving service and love to others. Or there could be a corrosive effect on the internal organs and skeletal structures of the individual, basically dissolving you from the inside out. So it's very important that you give this energy a release out from you, in ways of love and service and gifting of grace to other people. It's very important that we do this, and I want to really encourage you to do this. If you can't do it for perfect strangers, then do it for family members. Hop that jet and fly out to where a family person needs assistance and take care of that little baby, or take care of that ailing grandparent. Take care of that family member, that brother, that sister that may have some sort of infirmity that they could really appreciate a person that is Kundalini active coming into them and coming into their scenario and helping them with it. You really want to remember to do this, ladies and gentlemen. You really want to remember to do this. It is so very, very, very important. Any comment on that, Santara?
No, Chrism, I agree with you completely. It's something that
you do it. You do it with your KITT.
Yes, and in other ways as well. Yeah.
And I'm gonna come on over.
It's a thing that
Go ahead.
I feel a compulsion to do it as well in situations where I might not, where before I would have been timid about doing it with perfect strangers. Once you begin to do it, you realize that it's an essential part really of the process once Kundalini is awakened. It's something that I have to do now. And it's amazing as well how the Kundalini pulls me to do this in situations I would never ever have done before,
Right, absolutely. And I just I'm gonna have to take a nap because I'm starting to fall asleep. But I want people to understand how absolutely essential this is to the Kundalini program. You need to reach out and help as many people as you can possibly imagine. Okay? Really do this, ladies and gentlemen. And you will be blessed endlessly by doing this. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end this episode. I want to thank everybody coming in and listening to this. I'm sorry for the difficulty at the beginning, but I don't expect that will reemerge next week, which we will be here next week. And I just want to say thank you to Centara for providing this outreach into the populations with this radio program. I would like to thank everybody who called in, Josephine, Manisha. I'd like to thank Rosemary and Joey and Vincent and Phil and Mary and Atlantis Seeker, and a couple of guests that we have. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. And once again, hopefully no problems for the next show. I'll go ahead and end this one now. Thank you, everyone. You little